left out, right?
Yeah.
Like I was a 5, 7, 8-year-old brat, just running around trying to get attention from my older siblings.
Yeah.
They're off with their friends. They don't want anything to do with me. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm 4 years younger than my other sibling, and then 11 years younger from my brother. So they don't want to hang out with a 5 or 7-year-old. It wasn't, and they had their own stress.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them, but I felt very alone my whole childhood until I turned 13 and I left home.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't deal with this pain anymore. Get me out. And and I was telling you beforehand, that made me an observer of human beings.
Yeah.
My whole childhood, because I didn't feel like I belonged or fit in or was accepted, which I think a lot of people feel in some instance in their life. They don't feel like they belong, they fit in, or they're not accepted in some way.
Yeah.
I felt that until I was 13, really. I sat and watched people and I observed people. What makes them react a certain way? Why are they in this energetic state? What makes them, cry? What makes them laugh? Why are they reacting to this? What was it? And so I just would watch people all day because no one would hang out with me.
Right. Okay.
I would watch people at school. I'd watch people, on the streets. Or I'd watch my siblings. I would just watch because no one would want to spend time with me.
Right.
And that became an incredible skill set of understanding people, of seeing people and having compassion, of seeing people and learning how to connect better. And it's an ongoing journey and a process. But, that pain for really a decade plus became something that was a superpower in a sense that
like
allowed me to have curiosity. Someone like yourself being like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I want to learn.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by what you've experienced, what you've learned, and why this pain or this challenge affected you to be this way.
Yeah.
Because I know what affected me to be this way that I am.
Yeah. And it actually made me very androgynous. The thing is, sometimes the comments I get is, you're feminine and stuff. But I actually consider myself really, I'm not this non-binary, all this stuff. But mentally, I think my content tends to be quite gender neutral. I kind of talk about men and women quite equally. But it was because I was left out from my sisters, girls. So what happened is I didn't identify with being a woman. And the other thing that is really interesting is when I was the third girl in my culture, Pakistani culture, you want boys. So when I was born, my parents were hysterically crying. They couldn't believe they had a girl. They were crying their eyes out to the point where the nurse came in thinking I stopped breathing. And we didn't want a girl. We really didn't want a girl.
No, man.
And so what happened is
sad.
I grew up with almost like thinking I'm not a girl in a way. Like I'm not one of the girls. I'm not one of the girls. But I am so feminine. So what would happen is I would always have more male friends. And I'd always understand the male brain a bit better than the female brain because I always saw females as like people who don't like me, and males would always be really nice to me. So I almost kind of understood them way better than, and being a woman, I understand women, but I got this insight into the male brain that I couldn't have accessed if I wasn't so segregated from my sisters. So it actually helped me academically and in this career path, maybe not emotionally, but it definitely helped me in this way. Yeah.
Okay. There's a few things I want to talk about there, but something came up for me. In a heterosexual relationship, what is it that men really want versus what women really want, based on your experience growing up with men and understanding the male brain and being a woman? What is it that men really want and that women really want? And if each opposite knew this, they would have a much better relationship.
I think for men, the ability to be completely unapologetically themselves and have their needs predicted is something they can't do anywhere else in the world. What I mean by that is for women, my best friend, for example, she'll know when I'm feeling low and she might get me a chocolate. Or my other best friends, I know I can call her when I'm stressed, sad, whatever it is. I can outsource this ability to have my needs met and without saying a word, because women tend to be quite emotionally intelligent, and I have the ability to be myself, vulnerable, happy, sad, whatever it is. For men in the real world, they have to be a man. They have to wear a bit of a mask. So they have to look like they've got it put together. They have to look like they're in control. They have to look. So if they can go home where they can take the mask off and still be loved and appreciated, and appreciation for them isn't just a quick thank you. It's also like, I know you're tired. I know you're hungry. I know you need to get up early. So I'm putting the kids to bed. I'm just turning the volume off. I know you need to get to bed. that is a form of appreciation for them. So I think if they have a woman or an environment where they can take the mask off and their needs can be predicted, it's something that they think they can only dream of. They don't know that that actually exists for them. Would you agree, or do you what do you think from your perspective as a man? I'm really interested.
I think I can speak from my perspective and maybe like male friends.